Devotees, my humble obeisances to you all glories to Shri Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today is Tuesday and we are continuing with our Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Lila was chapter 14. We are discussing about Lord Chaitanya's childhood pastimes, and today's verse is 43 onwards. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your explanation. Thank you so much, Maharaj. I'll share my screen with the verse.
Yay.
Yes. Yeah. Verse number 43.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vindam Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vinda Sundikuda Hani Prabhu Gaura Bitarayana Garayata Banda Chila Pelila Bhagya. Thus, rebuked by his mother, he, Lord, would go in anger to a room and break all the pots within it. Tabe Sachikora Kale Kalila Santosh Lajita Hayila Prabhu Jana Nija Dosh. Then Sachimata would take her son on her lap and pacify him, and the Lord would be very much ashamed, admitting its faults. There's a nice description of the faults of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his childhood in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Kanda chapter 3, where it said that the child, the Lord used to steal all kinds of edibles from the houses of the neighboring friends. In some houses he would steal milk and drink, in others he would steal and eat prepared rice. Sometimes he would break the cooking pots. If there was nothing to eat, but there were small babies, the Lord would tease the babies and make them cry. Sometimes a neighbor would complain to Sachimata, my child is very small, but your child puts water in his ears and makes him cry. Oh my God, Tivirandasya. Jana Salakaya Jaksu Malitam. Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Staptitam Yena Bhutale. Swayam Rupa Kadam Yam Dadanti Swapadantikam. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastai Bhutale Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nevasesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satardi Vanchakalpatarubhischa Vima Sindhu Pe Bacha Patitaram Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. It's a business of a little child to become naughty. Not all children, but most children are naughty, and they like to just play around and do things that they want to do. And Krishna was no different. But his naughtiness would attract the attention of everyone. And then they would report his naughtiness to his mother, and she wouldn't know what to do. But even in reporting to his mother, they would feel great happiness because he came and stole their milk products, or he pinched their babies, or something that was very wonderful about this child, which they couldn't understand who he was. But they could never get angry at him, but at the same time, they would. And then they would think, oh, but he's so nice at the same time. So that's Krishna. He likes to play. He likes to act like an ordinary child. He likes to do things that attract the attention of others, because if people give him their attention, they get some benefit. They get bhakti, they get some purification. Even if they're attracted to him in apparently a negative way, they still make advancement spiritually. The Lord does that in order to give special mercy to his parts and parcels who come to associate with him, and even though they don't know who he is, still they find the feelings of he's causing so much trouble, we got to stop him. But at the same time, he's so very nice. That's Krishna. Okay, he puts water in children's ears and makes them cry, breaks cooking pots, steals butter, drinks the milk from different places. He drinks it, sometimes he eats it, and he just smashes the pot and throws it all over the place. He eats the prepared rice, teases the babies, makes them cry. Okay, so of course, if it was happening to you, you would think, oh, this child has to be stopped. But Krishna is so wonderful that his naughtiness is actually an object of devotion for devotees. Next verse. Kabu mrinda hasta kaila matake tadan. Matake murchita dehi karayai krandan. Once the child, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chastised his mother with his soft hand, and his mother pretended to faint. Seeing this, the Lord began to cry. Nari gana kahe, nari kela dehiani, deva susa haibena, tomara janani. The neighboring ladies told him, "Dear child, please bring a coconut from somewhere, and then your mother will be cured." Bahire yana anile duina regela, dekiya apurva haila vishmite sakala. He then went outside the house and immediately bought 2 coconuts. All the ladies were astonished to see such wonderful activities. Where did he get money to buy the coconuts? Kavi Shishu Shanga Sangha Kaliya Gangate Kanyagana Aila Tanha Devata Pujite. Sometimes the Lord would go with other children to bathe in the Ganges, and the neighboring girls would also come there to worship various demigods. Purport: according to the Vedic system, when small girls 10 or 12 years old would go to the bank of the Ganges to take their bath, they would especially worship Lord Shiva with prayers to get good husbands in the future. They especially wanted to get a husband like Lord Shiva because Lord Shiva is very peaceful and at the same time most powerful. Formerly, therefore, small girls in Hindu families would worship Lord Shiva, especially in the months of Vaishak, April, May, which we are right in the middle of right now. To take a bath in the Ganga is a great pleasure for everyone, not only for adults, but for children also. So the scriptures given that if you want a good husband, you worship Lord Shiva. He can provide a good husband if your worship is acceptable. And Shiva is easily pleased. So if there's some sincerity in the worship, he is automatically pleased, even if the worship is not according to all of the rules and regulations. Lord Shiva is very powerful, but at the same time, he exhibits a sense of peacefulness that pervades wherever he is. So this is tradition like that. If you somehow fail to worship Lord Shiva before you got a husband, I feel sorry for you. But anyway, anyway, maybe it was better in the longer run. Anyway, Lord Shiva always provides the best of all husbands. There's some beautiful pastimes coming up in relationship to this particular mood here, which describes how the Lord would tease the girls. Maybe it's coming up in the next verses. We can go on to 49. Ganga snana kari puja kariya lagila kanyagan madhya prabhu asya vasila. When the girls engaged in worship the demigods after bathing in the Ganges, the young Lord would come there and sit down among them. Kanyare kahe ame puji ame di bavara Ganga Durga Dasamora Mahesh Kinkara. Addressing the girls, the Lord would say, "Worship me. I shall give you good husbands or good benedictions. The Ganges and Goddess Durga are my maidservants. What to speak of every other demigod? Even Lord Shiva is my servant." Purport. There is a misconception about the Hindu religion among people who profess other religions, such as Christians and Muslims, who say that in the Hindu religion there are many gods. Actually, this is not a fact. God is one, but there are many other powerful living entities who are in charge of different departments of administration. They're called demigods. All the demigods are servants who carry out the orders of the supreme law, the personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disclosed this fact in his childhood. Sometimes, out of ignorance, sometimes people would worship the demigods to receive a particular boon, but actually one who becomes a devotee and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not need to go to the demigods for any benediction because he obtains everything by the grace of the Supreme Lord. In the Gita 7:20 and 28, these things are condemned. Kamaistasarita jnanam papadyante na devataham tam tam imnamam astaya prakriti niyata swaha. Only persons whose intelligence is lost and who are mad with lusty desires worship the demigods and follow particular rules and regulations of worship according to the nature. Tesam tvadagatam papam kyananam puna karmanam tvedandamokam nirmukta bhajate mandrita vitaha. But persons who are freed from all sinful activities and the duality of delusion engage themselves in the worship of the personality of Godhead with determination. So this is a very important part here, that sometimes we find it hard to stay steady in devotional service. But here is the qualification that allows steadiness to manifest. Persons who are freed from sinful activities and the duality of delusion, in other words, not attracted by the Maya energy, they can worship the Lord with determination. So this verse is very fundamental to understand how we can stay steady in devotional service. Freeing ourselves from the reactions of all sinful activities by chanting Hare Krishna, and staying fixed in our activities of devotional service and not getting sidetracked by materialistic endeavors for fruit of gain. Only the less intelligent worship the demigods for various purposes. The most intelligent worship only the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Sometimes the members of the Krishna conscious movement are accused of not approving of the worship of demigods. But how can we approve of this when it is condemned by Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna? How can we allow people to become foolish and Rita Gyan bereft of intelligence? Our propaganda is simply meant to enable people of intelligence to understand the distinction between matters and spirit and understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the whole spiritual identity. That is our mission, to give people the focus on where they should focus. All of their worship, all of their attention, all of their devotion on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they will become benefited. How can we not do that and mislead people into worshiping so-called gods in the material bodies within this material world? Our position is not allowing worship of the many hundreds of demigods, which has also been confirmed by Lord Chaitanya in his childhood. Narottam Das Thakur sings, Anye Devasanaye Tomare Kinshabai, Hey Bhakti Parama Karanai Karana. To become a staunch, pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without deviation, Ananya Bhakti, one should not divert his attention to the worship of the demigods. Such control is a symptom of pure devotional service. Om Gyantimirandasya Ganajana Salakaya Chaksun Malitam Yene Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, yeah. Yatamat Tatapat. Sometimes people, especially those who are brought up in the Hindu tradition, residents of the the land of Bharatvarsha, India, consider all forms of worship to be equal. And sometimes you see they'll accept many different objects of worship because they think the principle is to worship, and there is a whole gamut of things to worship. Not only do they worship the demigods and different forms of the Supreme Lord simultaneously, but they also place pictures of their family members on the altar and worship them also. So there's many forms of worship that are unauthorized, or what we say, a waste of time. Krishna says, whatever the demigods can give, and that's all coming from me. If you have $1 million, you have $1,000. You don't need to go to the lesser to get the greater. The lesser is what it is. Therefore, the demigods are simply the arms of the Lord. They carry out his instructions. So if you want to, get the favor of many big men, and you have your choice who to do it, you go to the top man because he can give you the favor of all the other men because he's in charge of them. So in the same way, we focus our attention solely on Krishna. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, turn to that verse. It's from the 6th chapter, the last verse in the 6th chapter. I think it's verse number 47 in the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, 647, the last verse in the whole chapter. Yeah, yoginam api sarvesham madgatendatvanat madgatenantar atmanana stradavam bhajate yomam seme yuktatamo mataha. Of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinking of me within himself and rendering transcendental loving service unto me, he is most intimately united with me in yoga in the highest of all. So here it'll go down the page a little. It says here in this verse, also the word bhajanti is used. Therefore, bhajanti is applicable to the Supreme Lord only, whereas the word worship can be applied to demigods or to any other common living entity. The word avajanati used in this verse, in the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, is also found in the Gita, avajanti mamoha. Only the fools and rascals derive the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such fools take it upon to write commentaries of the Gita without an attitude of service. Consequently, they cannot properly distinguish between the word bhajate and the word worship. So then keep going down the page. It's a long purport. Yeah. The highest, this stage of perfection of yoga can only be attained by bhakti. Bhakti is, so the point is that although there are many different objects of worship, and most of them, all of them practically, will give some material benediction. But a material benediction is just a deviation from the real benediction, which is Takva Deham Purna Janmana Naitimam Eti Sorjuna, to free oneself from the cycle of material suffering characterized by birth, death, disease, and old age. This is all the way up to the higher planets, and focus one's attention on going back home, back to Godhead. Bhakti is devotional service. It is free from all material profit, and it brings one full absorption into the consciousness of devotion to the Supreme Lord. Go down the page even farther to see Okay, so this verse makes the word clear that worship is one word, but bhajanti, as is mentioned in the verse itself, refers only to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of all other manifestations of the Godhead, including those who are demigods and others. So why would one go and worship the demigods when everything is there in the worship of the Supreme Lord, but not everything is there in the worship of the demigods? So therefore one worships Krishna for devotion, but also one will get whatever else Krishna wants to give that person, especially an arrangement to live in this material world nicely so they can find sufficient time, energy, and intelligence to keep their focus on the Supreme Lord in devotion and not waste time with all of these pujas. Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill at the end of the in the month of Kartik just to teach us that he showed that Nanda Maharaj was worshiping demigods. He dissuaded Nanda Maharaj, saying, why don't we just worship Govardhan Hill? Why the demigods are bound to give natural resources simply by doing your duty. So don't waste time. Just worship Govardhan Hill. Govardhan provides so many things, and he gave a whole long list of what the Govardhan provides for the upkeep and for the happiness and the necessities that are needed in life to live. Everything was there. So the same point is being made over and over again. It's a shame that most people worship demigods. They think worship of the Supreme Lord is actually too difficult, or they're more interested in fulfilling material desires. And if they can fulfill their material desires by worshiping Krishna, they may take up Krishna consciousness. But Krishna very strongly in four consecutive verses in the Gita, you can go to it as 4 verses, 7th chapter, verse number 20. We can just read the translation. Yeah, we can go to the translation. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow particular rules and regulations of worship according to their nature. I'm in everyone's heart a super soul, Krishna speaking. As soon as one desires to worship demigods, they make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. Endowed with such faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planet of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. So he says, if that's what you want, he'll help you. But at the same time, he's telling you, don't do it. He allows you to make your choice, but then he shows you what is actually your benefit, where your real benefit is. That's Krishna. Okay, we can stop there and open it up for comments, questions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for explaining so nicely about the Lord's mercy for devotion to the Lord instead of going to the demigods. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. And please turn on your cameras if possible.
There are so many demigods too. They're unlimited. There's 33 million demigods and 33 million demigoddesses. All the demigods are grihastas.
Yes, Maharaj. Shivakumar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisance to your lotus feet. Maharaj, in
Turn up your volume a little bit. It's a little, the volume is a little low.
Okay, I'm just coming closer to them.
Yeah.
So, Maharaj, in reference to today's your discussion, Maharaj, in Bhagavatam we find the sloka akamo, akamo, moksha, kama, udarati, tivrena bhakti yogena, jayata purusham. And also in Bhagavad Gita, it is categorically explained that the Lord says, one who wants quicker results are the ones who go to the
Yeah,
demigods.
Lila, I just cleaned the guest house, the guest room.
Vijana.
Yeah, sorry. Please repeat the last line, Prabhuji.
So in Bhagavatam, the sloka goes like that. Even if someone is desirous of any material enjoyment, they can still come to the Lord and worship Him. But in Bhagavad Gita, we see that the Lord Himself is asking, saying that people who want quicker results are the ones who go to the demigods. And it is me who is strengthening the faith in the demigods for those who want to approach for such purpose, Maharaj. So I just wanted to hear your words as to how do you answer.
That verse you quoted, Kamo Sarvavam Kamo Va, is a fundamental verse because preceding that verse, there's a whole list of benedictions that one can achieve by worshiping the demigods.
Mm.
And that's there. But then that verse simply rejects the previous verses by saying, those who have all material desires, kama, akama, those who have no material desires, and those who are situated in self-realization, self-satisfied, those who are liberated, they can all achieve the highest benefit simply by worshiping the Supreme Lord. So the Lord is saying there's no restrictions that anyone can worship, and everyone, the categories are the same. So what he's saying is don't try to fulfill material desires by trying to approach them, but simply you can find everything you need in Krishna consciousness. Just worship the Supreme Lord. Again, the example is given if you have $1 million, you have $1,000, you have $10. Krishna, Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvana Karana Kama. Krishna is not only the source of the demigods, he's the source of all existence, both material and spiritual. He's all powerful. And he's very kind to his devotees. So the devotees worship him in different ways, and he fulfills their desires according to how they worship him. But ultimately, he's always encouraging the devotees, for those who want to become devotees, to come to the highest platform of knowledge, which is the platform of Bhakti Yoga. Focusing on Avyabhilit Sunya Jnana Karmarana Anukalena Krishna Silanam Bhakti Uttamo. That simply all of these desires for fruit of gain and philosophical entitlements, they block the path of bhakti. Bhakti is pure, but bhakti cannot be mixed with others and expect to get the benefit. You can mix bhakti, but you don't get full bhakti. You get some lesser degree, which means you get some elevation, but you don't get Krishna. Krishna is only gotten by pure love. And that's available by Lord Chaitanya's special mercy in this age through the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and through engaging in practical devotional activities. So the scriptures are quite repetitious in making that point. Why? When something is repeated over and over again, it means there's a reason for that. That means it's important that people understand what is the actual standard that they should aspire for, instead of wasting time. And even if they're successful, which is not so easy, it's harder to become successful in jnana karma than it is in bhakti. Because bhakti requires simply attraction to Krishna based on serving Krishna, which is inspired by hearing about Krishna. All of these other yogic achievements there's so many standards of worship that one has to apply. And if one is not expert at doing the science, one will not achieve the goal. Even if they get 99.9% right, it still fails. So all of these other things, and you see, it's easy to chant Hare Krishna, at least in theory. It's easy to read Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very easy to associate with devotees and share these activities as a group activity. It's also easy to eat prasadam. All of this. So Krishna consciousness made very nice by Lord Chaitanya. He made it really easy. But material desires interfere with that, and wrong understandings create this idea that there is something else to achieve. If you achieve Krishna, the verses say, if you achieve Krishna, there's nothing left to achieve. And even trying to achieve Krishna, you actually elevate your consciousness above all of these other activities, which are sources of struggle. You have to struggle so much to perform any other activity. Krishna consciousness is nice. It's easy, provided you stop looking in other directions for success and happiness. That's what makes it difficult. And we're still got that other window open, peering in there and seeing what we missed.
Thank you, Maharaj. Prabhuji, you have any further comments?
So that verse you quoted was very important. That's a sweeping statement. That no matter what situation you are, just worship the Lord. Doesn't matter. Full of material desires, no material desires, situated in self-realization, simply worship the Lord. Akama, akama, and moksha kama.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
thank you. John Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Well, John.
Well, I'm still overwhelmed from the retreat.
I think you're one of many. I'm getting all kinds of positive feedback that is saying we can't consider anything any better. It was just so good. I don't know how to explain it in practical terms, but the devotees really bonded with each other so nicely, and that was the main thing. Everybody was like together, and it was really a family mood, but a real family.
It was so extraordinary. I've been struggling to put it into words for other people because I don't think I can put it into words. It was honestly one of the best. It was the best experience of my life, I think.
One of the highlights was the play, the Ramayana.
Oh,
That was, I mean, you brought people to the verge. Some people were crying during that play. And if you did, like I mentioned, if you would have kept going, I would have joined them. I was on the verge too. It was really touching, really touching. And that's what drama is supposed to do. It's supposed to take you into the whole theme of what is being presented. And it was done really nice.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. That means a lot. It's such a special moment for me to be able to perform that in that way to the devotees. Was such a unique experience for me, and it was such a pleasure. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
And you even look like Dasarat a little bit. You had that royal mood.
I worried all the grapes would just melt off my face.
Yeah, I was thinking what happened. Okay.
I had a question, but it's not directly related to the context of the class. So I was wondering if it was okay to ask it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, thank you. So I'm reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm up to the sixth book, third canto. And I'm just noticing there's so much talk on demons.
Now you've understood everything. What was it? What's the Ramayana about? One of the king of all demons was Ravana. Yeah, if you read Bhagavad Gita, you'll see Krishna explains that there are two kinds of created beings in the world: Sura and Asura, demigods and demons, saintly and evil. So these demons they're not just manufactured in some demon workshop. They actually take birth in that consciousness. And they, of course, according to their karma, and their planets, there are planets that are around the earth that inhabit such. There's a whole list of different kinds of demons. Demons are not just, demon is just a category, but there are different different kinds of demons in the category. So many. Now there's the different kinds of demigods. There's also different kinds of demons. So yeah, there's a lot there because if the demons weren't around, everyone would be happy and everyone could enjoy life nicely. But the demons make everything a mess. They just like to cause trouble and the main principle of a demon is to control. They want to control everything. Control the resources, control everything, control people, control. That's their business. That's their happiness, to be able to control more and more and more and more. It's not a happiness, it's actually a disease, but it comes out as a way of life just to control. And you can read the 16th chapter. Although the chapter is entitled Divine and Demoniac Natures, there's only 3 verses out of all of the verses in the chapter that talk about the divine. The whole chapter is mostly about the demons. So, yeah. So there's an eternal battle between the Suras and the Asuras. It's going on even today. Right now, as we're talking, that battle is going on. It's a feature of the material existence.
Why is it set up like that, Maharaj? Why is there why is there so many demons in the whole manifestation? What do I need to take from that? What's the significance of that? Why is it set up that way?
Well, the soul has independence, and the soul can distance itself from God farther and farther away. And the farther it gets, the more it enters into the category of what we say competitors. They're competitors with God. They're envious of God. Either they don't believe in God or they compete with God. They're envious. They want to be God. Just like you see in this world, where people have a strong tendency to want to be in control. And they may do it in an authorized way. But the demons, they want to do it in any way they can do it. They make propaganda. They work behind the scenes to influence economics, politics, social development, media, entertainment. All of this is being influenced by the demons. You can see the entertainment. It's not entertainment, it's violence in the name of entertainment. That's the demons.
Mm.
Yeah. So they exist. I remember there was one TV show that kind of did a kind of a caricature on the idea of demon and God. And the show was this person, he was the devil. And he would come and meet some person and say, I'll give you, whatever wealth you need, whatever material things you want through your whole life. But at the end of your life, your soul belongs to me. So that was the demon. So the show was he would go and, try to coerce people and offer them. Then one time, one person said, well, who are you? Why are you like that? What is your program? So then the demon explained. He said, I was in heaven with God, and God would be there, and I would sing his glories, and I would dance. But then I started to think, why is he getting all the attention? I want the attention.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is what is called the initial fall down, when we want to take attention away from the source of our existence and apply it to either ourselves or something in this material world. That's a demoniac mentality. And there's different degrees of that mentality where it becomes actually worship. There's people who worship the demons. There's people who worship like that. They perform human sacrifices. They kill children. They drink their blood. That's happening today. In the year 2023, 8 million children were turned up missing. Nobody knows what happened to them. That was worldwide. Can you imagine 8 million?
Wow.
So they capture young children, they sacrifice them, they perform sacrifices, they drink their blood. This is going on today. But you'll never see this in the media. It just doesn't. Because the media is influenced by these same persons who are doing that. They control the media, and therefore, if anybody tries to reveal it, immediately they're either killed or they're ousted from their position. Yeah, this is happening today. I mean, there's a whole long. So you're asking, why is there people like that? They're envious of God. They hate God. They despise God. They think that God is interfering with their desire to enjoy in this material world. And the farther away from God they get, the more evil they become. And Prabhupada said, if you read Prabhupada's books, you'll see, Prabhupada said, the demons will do anything. They will do anything. They don't stop. They have no, line of, they'll do anything. They'll kill their own children. They'll kill their own parents. They don't care. Whatever they want, they'll do it. They get it. That's a real demon. And they live in different levels of existence. Some of them live within the earth. Just like we had an earthquake in Croatia back in 2021. And many of the devotees who were in that area saw the demons coming out of the earth. And many of these demons were really, really horrible. Combination of fire and air. They're called the jinns. They're fiery bodies, but they're fueled by the wind, and therefore they become strong when they get released from the earth. Oh, there's so many. You wouldn't believe. If you read Bhagavatam, it's all there. But we think Bhagavatam is, something that happened in the past. It's not happening now, but it's happening right now. But the good news, and the real good news, is Lord Chaitanya's movement is the only protection against all of this. Therefore, we chant Hare Krishna and make to chanting the most important part of our daily activities, will always be protected away from that. And also, Krishna keeps our life away from these demons. Unless you really want to find out more, you'll find yourself in trouble. But if you go about your business in devotional service, Krishna protects his devotees, keeps them free from that. But he allows the demons to go on because that he gives them their independence. But he also says in the Bhagavad Gita that I cast them into lower species of existence, life after life after life. They never see the light of life. And you read the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, everything is explained in detail.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah. Don't worry, keep doing plays.
Yeah. I'll try. Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
There's a play that Prabhupada really liked. It was called The Age of Kali. I saw, yeah, I mean, you know Bhakti Marg Swami? You've heard of Bhakti Marg Swami, right? He's a creative dramatist. He has a group of young people which he gathers, and he does plays. And one of the plays that was really popular was The Age of Kali. I saw it twice within the last 2 years. And he has personalities who play the different anartas, like there's Mr. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, envy, like that, anger. And then there is Kali. He's there and he's directing Kali. Kali's directing all of these anartas to attack different people and bring them to sinful activities. See, the demons, they're very crafty. A lot of times they don't tell you to forget about God, but they give you so many things to do to keep you so busy you have no time for God.
Right.
I have it on my phone. It's called, you heard of Chat GPT?
Yes, yeah.
So somebody asked Chat GPT, if you were the devil and you wanted to keep people away from God, what would you do? Chat GPT gives the answer. It's really evil.
Oh, I think I've seen it actually. I think I know what you're referring.
Yeah. So to tell people not to worship God doesn't work, but to get them away from God and give them mindless and senseless activities, divert their attention away, then they have no time for God.
Mm-hmm.
That's their program. Make sure everybody is diverted away.
Thank you, Maharaj. I have another. I don't want to.
I could talk all day about this because I study it.
Do you mind me asking another question?
Yeah, if you like, yeah.
I've heard, or from what little I understand, is that there's demons even within our own body. Is that right?
We have demonic. We can have demoniac tendencies. But and there are also people who are haunted by ghosts who are also demoniac in nature. That's why a lot of people do things and they don't even know why they do it. And then they find themselves, victimized by their activities. So yeah, that's also there. That if people who are intoxicated and people who engage in illicit activities, illicit sex and all kinds of sinful activities, they attract ghosts who are of demoniac nature. And these ghosts enter into their bodies so they can enjoy through these different bodies like that. I was just talking to one devotee. He said he was looking at one person. He could see the demon in that person. It was visual. And I meet people all the time who are haunted by ghosts, and they always want some relief. We tell them worship Lord Nrsingadev, or just keep chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So yeah, these things happen. There are people out there who are, and so in our own bodies, we may have certain, what we say, characteristics that are indicative of being demoniac. But devotees are not demoniac, but they may sometimes fall into the wrong activities.
So it's not that these demons are constantly within us, but there can be times where people can have possession of by.
Have you ever been attacked by a ghost? Devotees have sometimes. You're laying in your bed and you can't breathe, and you're choking, and this seems like there's something going on, but it's a ghost trying to enter into your body. It's happened to me many times. All I do is chant the Holy Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and it's a struggle sometimes to get free from them. They come. Sometimes a lady ghost will attack a man, or a man ghost will attack a lady, like that. So there's ghosts everywhere, especially in this age when people are so sinful. There are so many. When people commit suicide, that creates ghosts. Suicide brings that soul into a ghostly body. And because the ghosts cannot enjoy without a physical body, they try to enter into the bodies of others. They look for victims who are weak. It's like we had one building in New York, was on 55th Avenue in New York. It was a convent where there were many Christian nuns living there, and many of the nuns died also there. It was an 11-story building. We took over the building, and devotees were haunted and harassed by ghosts all the time. In fact, 2 devotees committed suicide because of the ghosts that were there. One devotee jumped off the top of the building, and on his way down, he realized what he was doing, but it was too late. He had become haunted by a ghost. So that building we sold after a while, but there were devotees can tell you, those who lived there, there was ghosts there all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, ghosts are everywhere. Be careful. But one thing you should not do is talk about them, because if you talk about them, you attract them. So let's end that conversation. So
Yeah.
they don't decide to visit one of us, including me.
Okay.
But they're there. You read the Bhagavatam, you can read about all kinds of different types of living beings.
And do you mind me asking another question, Maharaj?
Sure.
How aware of demons today should we be? How much focus and attention should we give to demoniac entities that may be running or involved in whatever, governments, entertainment, all of these things, or should we just go on with?
You'll be going crazy. The best thing is just to focus on Krishna consciousness.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and you should know through scriptural evidence that these things are happening. But you need a preliminary set of understanding so you know, at least in theory, what's going on. But to get into the specifics, you could be going on for ages, and you'll find yourself wasting time and being diverted away from Krishna conscious.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, bring in the light of the sun and the darkness goes. Bring in Krishna and all of the influence of the demoniac elements will also disappear. You have to understand, darkness darkness or demoniac is the opposite of good. So what is the opposite of good? It's evil. And what is evil? Nothing. Evil has no substance. Evil is simply an absence of good, just like darkness is an absence of light. Cold is an absence of heat. So these elements don't have any substance of their own. They're an absence of the positive. So if you stay into Krishna conscious, you won't be affected by these things.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah. But when we read the Bhagavatam, we come across these different situations. The Bhagavatam is Krishna killing demons practically in every incarnation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You have Varaha, you have Ram, you have Krishna, you have Nrsimha, you have Vamana. The whole list of the incarnations, Parasurama, all of these incarnations came to kill demons. Because Krishna does that as a service to free the devotees from the harassment that the demons cause. You have the whole story of Prahlad Maharaj. His father was a huge demon.
Yeah, there seems to be demons at every step, almost when you read.
It's there everywhere. And sometimes, and the thing is, demon devotees don't even think they exist. But why is the Bhagavatam saying that? Because as Prabhupada said, he was speaking to devotees. He said, we have no concern or worry about Maya. Maya, she is, Maya is actually our friend because she works to help us become Krishna conscious. But Maya has to serve the demons. And because there's demons, there is so much trouble in the world. It's all because of the demons. Whatever trouble in the world is it's because of the demons. And there's different types of demons. But nowadays, the demons are not as powerful as they used to be.
So by stepping into Maya, are we stepping into the demoniac influence? Like, is that automatic?
We're taking on qualities that are contrary to devotional success. And the more you go into that, the more you become sinful. And the more you become sinful, the more you develop demoniac characteristics. You become greedy. You become angry easy. You can control your lust. You achieve something and you become proud of it. You feel unhappy when someone else is successful. These are all qualities of the demons.
I admittedly, before Christmas, found this rage of anger pop up in me, which was really unexpected. And here's me thinking, I'm a steady devotee or whatever, and my pride is kicking in, and it really shocked me. And I'm wondering if that must be because of my covering of illusion for those moments, for the material energy. It must be that. But
they say anger is the younger brother of desire. It means when desire is unfulfilled, anger can appear. And the more the strength of that desire, the more the anger becomes strong. Anger is caused by frustration. Anger is caused by unfulfilled desires. But a devotee accepts the mercy of the Lord as the sunam bonum in life, and whatever the Lord ordains, the devotee can be satisfied with. To get free from anger, learn to become satisfied in whatever the Lord gives you for your livelihood in this world. And he also gives you a chance to go back home, back to Godhead.
Yeah.
If we fail at something, or one of our desires becomes frustrated, we should just think, oh, it wasn't important anyway.
Yeah. I think that's something, Maharaj, that I realized coming on the retreat when I actually had deep time and proper focus to really get into my japa, and because of all the influence that was there, is to realize that so much of my own frustrations that I had recently is just my fault. And
well, we can't blame anybody for whatever happens to us.
Yeah.
Because we have the means to prevent it, and if we don't use it, or we are acting in the wrong way based on having wrong desires, and then we get people don't understand why they're suffering because they have wrong desires. They have desires which are contrary to their well-being and to their happiness, and they're trying to fulfill them. And then they become frustrated or unhappy or angry, and they can't fulfill their desires. Or even if they fulfill them, in due course of time, they actually see that whatever they achieve is lost in time, or it doesn't give them the satisfaction they were expecting. So the simple and easy way is just focus on Krishna consciousness. You can fulfill all your desires nicely. You can have physical and mental and spiritual well-being all in one package. Because Krishna consciousness is not simply a religion, it's the science of life. It's the way to live, both in this world and ultimately achieve success by perfecting our life in the way that it is meant to be perfected, by awakening our attachment and our devotion to the Supreme Lord. That's the purpose of life.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, thank you for your interesting questions.
I still have more, but I don't want to be greedy on them.
Looks like you're making up for lost time, huh?
I think so, yeah.
Good, but you keep your questions. We're here every day. Yeah. Inquisitiveness is the door to understanding.
Thank you. I really appreciate your generosity in giving these classes, Maharaj.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada's mercy.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So nice questions you asked, and we all got benefited through those questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Amritaram Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Our glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we were talking about the demigods, and I have a question related to that. We were talking about demigods, and I have a question related to that. So, as scripture says that, Bhagavad Gita says that low intelligence of man, they worship demigods. But when we see, even in the society, Krishna consciousness society, devotees who are in India are dealt in a different way, because they have been into demigod worship from a longer time. Even the speakers, they don't directly tell this message yes, this is in Bhagavad Gita, but they don't directly tell this message. So, how do I understand this, Guru Maharaj? Because in our day-to-day life, even in devotional services, where we see that sometimes demigods are being carried with us. So, how do I understand this formula, Guru Maharaj? That how can we make them understand in a sophisticated way?
Demigods are essentially devotees. So it says we don't worship the demigods, that we brought that verse up from the Gita explaining. But at the same time, we honor the demigods. They're superior to us in all regards, both materially and in many times spiritually also. Some cases spiritually, most cases, in all cases materially. So we honor them. They are Krishna's agents to maintain the material world. So they're powerful. They control all of the forces in the nature, but they control it through Krishna. Just like a president, he doesn't do everything, but he gives all of the instructions for carrying out the affairs of the state. But he has all of he has his ministers, he has his cabinet members, he has his armed forces. They carry out all his instructions. So the same way, the demigods are simply agents for Krishna to carry out his instructions to maintain the material world. And when there's some dichotomy in the maintenance, then there has to be an adjustment, and the demigods step in to try to do the adjustment. Usually, they come in at the request of Lord Brahma or Lord Indra. They should be respected, but worship is for the Supreme Lord. You can pray to the demigods to give their blessings so you can worship. You can pray to Lord Brahma, to Lord Shiva, please give me that mercy that I need in order to, just like there's certain demigods that can help unblock, just like Ganesh. Ganesh can unblock some of your anarthas, or those things that are stopping you from making spiritual progress.
Mm.
But Ganesh worships Nrsingadev, that's for sure. He carries the lotus feet of Lord Nrsingadev on his head. That's where he gets power to unblock everyone. So those who can't worship Nrsingadev, they can also worship Ganesh. But we don't worship Ganesh, we worship Nrsingadev. So, yeah, but worship is for the Supreme.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for clearing this concept. And I have one more question. This is not from me, but since we were talking about, we were talking about ghosts. So there's a question from Ruhan, my son. He has been always asking this question, but I hardly had this answer for it. So he asked me that when ghosts have the separate planets, why do they come to the earth?
Why? Just to why do
if
they
ghosts
come?
have separate, yes.
Well,
If ghosts have separate planets.
yeah, they have the power to travel. They can do that. You're living in Mumbai. Have you ever been to another place in the world?
Yes.
Do you have a reason for going there? Just stay in Mumbai. Why travel? Because it's just natural to travel around, go see different places, do different things. And ghosts usually come sometimes just to see who they can harass. There's good ghosts and there's evil ghosts. There's also ghosts that can help you. We talked about that yesterday. Fairies, various angels, they have ghostly bodies.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
It says that every devotee, every living entity has what is called their guardian angel. You've heard of that? That's in the Christian scriptures, but that's also true now.
That's something new, Guru Maharaj. A guardian angel.
Yeah, but we have Krishna in his different forms. But if you really want to be successful, don't go such broad in your Krishna consciousness. Just focus on Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya he's a composite of all mercy, all power, all glory, all success. And he can take you beyond, he can take you into the spiritual world because he is Krishna himself. People don't worship Lord Chaitanya because they're ignorant. They don't understand who he is. I was just reading this morning. Said even if you're absorbed in logic and reason, then in an unpretentious and an honest way, apply your logic and reason to Lord Chaitanya, and you will find no one any better than him. That's in the Bible. I was just reading that this morning. People don't worship Lord Chaitanya because they don't know who he is. They think he's a saint or something, or at best some avatar, but he's actually Krishna, come in this age to give us the means to return back to the spiritual world. Very merciful. Udira avana kaurana baji dvijamani gaura amani jage. What is it? What is it? We say, let's see. What is that mantra to Lord Nishringa and Lord Chaitanya? When we always
Is it Om Namo Mahadanaya?
Yeah, that's it. Namo Mahavadanaya. Thank you. Krishna Prema Padayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, Namani Gaura Tristena Maha. Very merciful. Krishna himself. You can't understand the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. It's not possible. But you can, but once you receive it, you'll understand you can get a little understanding of how complete it is. Just chant. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Guru Maharaj. And thank you for giving me the worship of Gauranitai as well. I really relish it. So yes. And my faith in because as I'm coming from a different background, so I didn't knew a lot about Gauranitai, but after coming to Krishna consciousness, my faith has increased only. So, and eventually I have developed a lot of love for my deities as well. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, that's something that many people who were brought up in India, they just don't know about him. Or they just hear something and then they formulate wrong understandings. He's Krishna. And he's in the mood of your devotion to himself. And he wants everyone to become Krishna conscious. All the devotees who came on the on the retreat got this little book. And it was prayers, which were the Astakaliya Lila of Krishna and Radharani, and also Lord Chaitanya. So read that book. Don't just take that book and put it on your shelf. That's really I read it every day. I've been reading it for months every day. I read Lord Chaitanya in the morning, I read Radha Krishna in the evening. It takes about 10 minutes, that's all, each time. And you learn about Lord Chaitanya, what he does, how he acts, how he shows his mercy to others, how people receive his mercy and become fully enraptured in ultimate happiness. You really want to be happy, Gornitai. You can't beat them. Even Krishna is still trying to figure out himself in the Lord Chaitanya. He can't. He's thinking, wow, I've become so merciful in that other incarnation of mine. And it's understood like that also. Krishna said, surrender. Lord Chaitanya said, forget surrender. Just dance and eat prasadam. Hang around with nice people and give this same thing that I'm giving to you to others. Yeah, Namo Mahabhadanaya, the most magnanimous, the most magnificent, the most, loving of all manifestations of the Supreme Lord. Well, Prabhupada gave us Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's really full of the life and activities and instructions of Lord Chaitanya. It's the king of all Shastras. Okay.
Thank you,
We
Maharaj.
can move on.
Yeah.
Okay, Amrita, you're okay?
Amrita Mataji.
Yes, go ahead.
You're all right?
Yes, I am.
Good.
As long as your mercy is there, I'm all right.
Mercy comes with discussions on what we should be doing and how we should be doing it. Rasa Vilasini, Radha.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, as we heard that there are four types of people who approach the Lord: those in distress, those desiring wealth, and the inquisitive and the wise. So, out of these, only two, those in distress and those seeking wealth, usually don't stay for long, as we heard that, because as soon as they get the fruits of the desire, they tend to forget the Lord. So, Maharaj, as we heard, even if someone has a material problem, they should still go to the Lord. But sometimes, if someone asks us to pray for something material, or even if we ourselves feel like praying for something material, there is a fear. So, what if I forget the Lord after getting it? So, in such a situation, what should we do?
Well, there are people who come for that reason, and then when they fulfill their desires, they should understand that that is not the goal. That's why the books are there to teach you. You may come for this reason, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is to awaken your eternal loving relationship with Krishna. So therefore, there's so much emphasis on teaching that and showing people, all right, you got your material desires satisfied. Now you're going to go back out there and try to enjoy. But then you might be back again when you realize you can't enjoy. I mean, there's women who come to our movement looking for good husbands. They think, I need a nice, saintly man for a husband. So they come to Krishna consciousness, looking for a nice person who's somewhat spiritual. There's other reasons people come. I'm suffering out here, so let me see what this spiritual life is like. Maybe I can stop my suffering. And they do. But then after some time, they have to come to the understanding that that's not the goal. Liberation is not the goal. The goal is love of God, because love is what attracts and enhances happiness. Not liberation can give you happiness. It can give you temporary relief, but cannot give you real happiness. Happiness comes with relationship, and the ultimate relationship is with Krishna. And when you're related with Krishna, you can also have real and what we say genuine relationships with everybody else too. That expands itself outward. If you water the root of the tree, the branches, the twigs, the fruits, the flowers, everything connected to the root gets the benefit of the watering process. You serve Krishna, develop your love for Krishna. Everything about life becomes wonderful. Provided we stop looking for something wonderful somewhere else. Yeah,
Thank you.
so that danger is there, but still Krishna says, come anyway. But it's better if they come. Krishna calls them Mahatma. They've come to the right place. But now they have to learn what is their real self-interest.
Thank you, dear Guru. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, maybe we can stop here. I think it's getting a little bit beyond the time.
There is a question on chat by Narsinga Lila Mataji. Is it okay if I
Okay.
She is asking, why does Krishna give ability to see those demons, but not the ability to fight with them? What's the use of such ability?
I can't answer this question because I won't even explain why I can't answer it. The Shringa leader, you can call me up. I can't believe you asked that question. Krishna does give you the ability. He gives you the intelligence which brings about the ability. If there was no protection, then where would you be now?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. There is a second part of my question. I asked, what's the use of such an ability and how to engage it in the service of the Lord?
What's the use of what?
What's the use of the ability to see those demons and how to engage it in the service?
Well, it's not that we want to see them. You can have them. You can have that experience simply by hearing. But sometimes, for certain people, for whatever reason, they see them. So what do you do when you see them? you just realize that, hey, I'm out of here. Just think of Krishna, pray to Krishna, call out to Krishna. So Krishna allows you to see them. So maybe you can go deeper. You need to go deeper into your bhakti. So this is going to push you deeper into your bhakti. These are tests actually to make us stronger in Krishna consciousness. And if you fight, you can't lose. Some people have to fight in order to get their bhakti up to the standard of where they can actually stay fixed in Krishna conscious. So a good fight is sometimes required in order to stabilize our Krishna consciousness. But those who have faith know they can't lose, but they still have to fight. Arjuna couldn't lose because Krishna was there, but still he had to fight. And the fighting made him a hero and made him also strong. So fighting in Krishna consciousness is good because it makes you stronger. But if you go into the wrong directions, sometimes you find yourself meeting such inauspicious personalities. That means you might be doing things wrong also. Or there's something in your karma that is allowing that to manifest. But whatever the reason is, that's secondary. The thing is, take shelter of Krishna. Are you still there?
Yes, Maharaj. She's saying that this is very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're a fighter anyway, Nisringa Lila. So you're never going to lose as long as you keep your fighting mood. She's a good fighter. She knows how to fight in bhakti. And that fighting makes you strong, provided you fight in the right way.
Yeah, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Gaurangi Priya Mataji raised her hand. Mataji?
Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. I am asking, Gurudev is the representative of Krishna. So what is the difference between relation with Krishna and relation with Gurudev?
Spiritual master is our means by which we develop our relationship with Krishna. But we also develop a relationship with Krishna because he's giving us, we also develop a relationship with the spiritual master because he's giving us Krishna. Therefore, we also develop love for the spiritual master because he's giving us the opportunity to come in contact with our eternal lover, which is Krishna. So our relationship with the spiritual master is one of gratefulness and duty and obedience, because he's taking us to Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Yeah. Some people used to say, I don't know much about Krishna, but Srila Prabhupada, they would say, Prabhupada, I only know you. Prabhupada said, that's fine. Because I'm here to give you Krishna. So if you come to me, you'll learn about Krishna. You'll learn about your relationship with him.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. So it's almost 1.5 hours. So can we stop here, Maharaj, for today?
I think so. I'm going to have to leave because time is a little short.
Yes, Maharaj.
So, but But continue and have your japa session, and
Yes, ma'am.
devotees can chant japa together. Will bring your consciousness up after talking about demons and ghosts. We need to get the consciousness back up there.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Such wonderful class and nice discussion. Thank you, dear devotees. Please stay on for chanting. So we'll do it sometime. And we'll all meet together tomorrow again for Srimad Bhagavatam class.
Good. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Hare Maharaj.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada, Vijay, Nityananda, Vijay,
Thank you, Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jasi, Vijay, Somadhatri, Amritanam, John, Rajab, Jana, Priya, Radha, Rasa, Vilas, Radha, Karanga Priya, Srimati, Jamuna Jivana, Bhakti, Suzan, Shilpesh, Krishna Kaviraj, Gauri Priya, Bhakta B, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Amrita Sundari, iPhone, somebody.
Manjuali, ma'am.
That's it. Manjuali, Sonal, Shringa Lila, Naga, Sadvi, Ananda Gopika. Wow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.